So start by just pulling in some nice deep breaths. Fill the belly up on that inhale, and on the exhale, let it deflate back. If you need that big, full, refreshing breath, go ahead and fill up the whole chest cavity. Get your lungs nice and full, and then let it all go. And throughout class, see if we can focus on grounding our breath. And in doing that, you're going to be using your diaphragm, which is right underneath your rib cage. And you may feel your pelvis kind of expanding and pressing down into the floor. So that sensation is really good to try and find that. For me, when I was first practicing and learning about breath work, it was kind of counterintuitive to feel a downward sensation on an inhale. I was sort of feeling this lifting. I wanted to lift, but it's actually more so of a push downwards. So kind of counterintuitive, I think, but just trying to grasp that concept through our initial meditation here. And that grounding really helps us to mentally ground, obviously physically ground, spiritually ground, but it's a way to anchor yourself in the present moment, kind of connect to the here and now. Take some time here to just welcome yourself to your practice, saying hello to your body, your mind, your soul. Maybe it's been a while. That's okay. We'll stay here for several more breaths. If you would like to take a moment to set an intention, now's a really good time to do that. If there's any healing you're working towards, anything you've got going on, see if you can come up with a helpful word or phrase that's going to help you work towards that goal. Let your arms be nice and heavy. Shoulders dripping away from the ears. Crown of the head working its way upwards towards the ceiling. The crown of the head is an extension of the spine, so it's not in the middle of the top of your head, certainly not at the front, but it's really towards the back of the top of the head, if that makes sense. So think of it as an extension from the tailbone. The tailbone roots down on that exhale, and the crown of the head reaches upwards. Let's stay for maybe 5 or 7 more breaths. That'll be the end of our beginning meditation. So take your time with it, enjoy it while it lasts. And if you're encouraged to do so, maybe count the breath, see if you can extend those inhales and exhales to beyond 5 seconds, 5 seconds or more. Somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds is a good measure. And keeping it rhythmic and steady and similar. So we want our inhales and our exhales to match each other. Okay, it's been a little bit more than 5 or 7 breaths. Sorry, we're going to stay another moment here just to observe that breath count if we started doing that. Relax the skin of your face. Let's see if we can bring sort of a effortless effort to class today. The yin and the yang, opposing forces. A sort of simplicity to trying, if you will. If that makes sense. Big breath in, big breath out, let it go. Wonderful, my friends. Okay, we're gonna do some head and neck rotations. If your arms need to be heavier, go ahead and make them heavier. Nice little slap in the lap can help. And we're just going to work our head in big circles around to loosen up through the shoulders. And of course, the head and neck. Just kind of finding some fluid motion, working it out. There's no right way to do this, although we do want to be lifting our heart upwards, lifting that spine up. If we're collapsing at all, that's no good for our neck. So we do want to lift. And then just finding what feels good. Okay, and find a neutral spine. We're going to take a side tip to both directions. Take one hand down for support. That's going to root your opposite hip. And then reach your arm over like a teapot. Just a side stretch. You may want to focus on lifting your heart upwards and gazing upwards. Kind of gets the shoulder a little bit more when we do this. And then we'll go the other side. Use your hand to ground the opposite hip. Reach up, look up, tip like a teapot. All right, and back to center. Beautiful. We'll take child's pose now. I'm always using my blanket, so in meditation, I'm sitting on it. And then for child's pose, it can kind of make its way under your knees. Drop your head nice and heavy, and drop your hips nice and heavy as well. We'll probably spend maybe 2 minutes here, so really enjoy this lovely child's pose. One of the best postures given to us from this practice. Work on mustering up some energy and some strength. We'll do a little bit of, like I said, getting our heart rates up just a little bit, a little teeny bit of cardio, if you will. Nothing too intense, of course. You guys know me. And if at any point it becomes more challenging than you're interested in experiencing today, just take child's pose. Notice if you're holding tension in the joints, maybe in your hands, your fingers, your toes. See if you can relax, welcoming that gentle energy, that effortlessness to our practice. Awesome job. When you're ready, we are going to take downward facing dog. So getting that strength together, we'll do some leg lifts in downward facing dog. So hips up and back, fingers nice and open. And I like to start by just pedaling my feet, pressing my shoulders towards my kneecaps, finding that steady pace, that balance here. I also love to go up and down on my tippy toes. This kind of opens up all our joint pathways and gets us hopefully comfy. And if you're not comfortable yet in downward facing dog, we can always take tabletop. Tabletop is a great option here. All right, so leg lift time. Take the right heel high, our hips are squared, same thing if you're in tabletop. And we're just gonna lift our leg a little bit higher than neutral. So maybe 5 or 7 times, and it's just this kick and lift. And you can take that yogic foot, which is a pointed foot and flexed toes. Okay, and then just switch legs whenever you're ready, extending that heel away from you, hips nice and square like 2 headlights pointed forward and down, and then just kick and lift. So find that neutral place, and then see if you can push and extend your flexibility and your strength a little bit higher. And I think I did 7 maybe. All right, and then we'll take a child's pose. As our arms are probably feeling it. And I like to take my hands back towards my feet to rest my shoulders. You can do knees apart or knees together. Let the breath flow. We'll do a little bit more of things like that. So continue to mentally prepare for a little bit of effort in class today. Catch up with your breath. Okay, and same goes for our next exercise, tabletop or downward facing dog. I'm opting for downward facing dog. We are going to lift one leg nice and high, 3-legged dog. Our hips are square. And then we're going to bend the knee and pick the knee upwards for wild thing with both hands on the floor. And then we're just going to alternate from 3-legged dog to wild thing. 3-legged dog to wild thing. And go back and forth 5 or 7 times. And switch legs whenever you're ready. This can be done in tabletop, friends. Okay, and then we can hold down dog for a breath and then just take child's pose again. So our arms might be feeling it, our legs might be feeling it. It's a good feeling, hopefully. Catch up with your breath. Take a moment here. Again, knees together or apart, arms forward or back. Big breath in and out. All right, we're going to move through a vinyasa. So find yourself back in downward facing dog. Hips up and back, stretching the backs of the legs. And we'll walk forward to the front of our mat in your own time. Take as many steps as you need. Feet hip width apart, knees slightly bent. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift that belly button up. Exhale, forward fold. Take a break here. Let the arms and head get nice and heavy. Shake the head yes and no. Let out a big exhale, a nice sigh. Relax through the jaw. All right, we're going to take chair pose. So bend those knees, drop the hips, and reach the arms up, chair pose. We told you we were going to work a little bit today. And of course, if you don't want to do chair pose, just take a stance. Take mountain pose and enjoy being vertical for a moment. Adjust to what the legs and feet are feeling is best for them to be positioned in, usually hip width apart or wider. Okay, exhale, stand up nice and tall. We'll take that mountain pose, and this is where we kind of feel it out, adjust, wiggle, do what you have to do, bend the knees a few times, and just breathe here. I like to open my palms. This is our traditional Samasthiti. Relax the shoulders down the back. Inhale, reach the arms up, look up. Maybe find a back bend, and if you take your thumbs and kind of lock them like butterfly, this is such a great way to help lift and bend backwards, look up. Exhale, forward fold, back down. I like to take my hands through to prayer, come back to that intention that you set. Maybe the hands come to the ankles and gently pull, maybe not. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep lifting that belly up so we're not dumping into our low back, which is my tendency. All right, and then bend the knees, step back, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, high plank pose, top of a push-up, nice and strong. We'll slowly lower. Or quickly lower. Inhale, reach the arms up. Inhale, lift your heart up for cobra, pressing the feet down. And then we'll take child's pose again, pulling those hips back and tucking the knees underneath you. Awesome. And we'll catch up with our breath. Always time for rest and recovery in class. Never think that you have to keep going if it's not feeling right for your breath and your body. We'll stay for maybe 5 or 7 more breaths. back up to downward facing dog. We're gonna move through a bit of a vinyasa flow. We'll do a sequence of just a couple poses. So we can take our blanket aside so it's out of the way. Lift those hips up and back for down dog. And we'll incorporate some of the stuff we've been doing already. So let's start with our left leg nice and high. Three-legged dog. And we can lift that leg a little bit higher maybe. And then we'll take that wild thing with both hands on the floor, bend the knee, drop the foot behind you, gaze underneath your left shoulder. Okay, and then we'll come back to three-legged dog. And then we're gonna step our left foot forward. Reach it all the way forward. See if you can get it between your hands. You may need help from your hands to kind of walk that foot up. Square off your feet. So I like to shimmy my left foot to the left, my right foot to the right, and then we're gonna sweep our arms up for high lunge. Now, of course, you can drop the back knee for a low lunge. If you feel like being a little bit more connected to the floor, to the earth, to stability, whatever floats your boat today. Big stretch through the front of the right hip crease. All right, exhale, the hands come down. We're gonna send that left foot back up to a three-legged dog. Good luck, you got this. Reach that left foot up and back, down dog. And of course you can be in tabletop. And then we'll try our best to inhale high plank pose with a hovering leg. And exhale, slowly lower with one leg. And then we'll push up into our upward facing dog, the foot drops. And child's pose. So this is sort of one of those harder workouts that us yogis like to do. I normally avoid it, but I think we're doing a great job. It's summer, I have all the sun energy. I hope you guys are doing well with this practice today. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. But hopefully I can give you the rest that you need. So take a break here. We'll do that on the other leg in just a moment. Maybe it produces a little bit of anxiety in us. Maybe our heart rate is a little bit higher pace, if you will. And that's normal, that's okay. Just breathe through it, catch up with yourself. Give yourself time to calm down, to lower your heart rate. Okay, we're gonna do that on the other leg now. Awesome job. It's gonna be our right leg this time that's gonna lift and reach away from the floor in downward dog for three-legged dog. So send that right heel up and away, maybe lift it a little bit higher. And then bend the knee, drop the foot, gaze under the right shoulder. And then we're gonna come back to three-legged dog. So pass through square hips and step that right foot all the way forward. Use your core muscles, create space through the front of your body so we can step our foot down. Shimmy your right foot to the right maybe, your left foot to the left, and we'll reach up for high lunge or possibly a low lunge if you wanna drop the back knee. And if you're kind of struggling while you're here, I'm just inching my foot more to the right, and that's giving me the stability that I need. All right, we're gonna exhale our hands down, and we're gonna try our best to do that one-legged vinyasa. So the right leg reaches up and back. And then we inhale, high plank pose, slowly lower. And then we push ourselves up into that upward facing dog. I rarely teach this. We are doing awesome. I think if I can do it, you can do it. And then we'll take a child's pose. Break time, knees apart, head down. Let the breath flow. We're gonna move through just one more vinyasa to stand up, and then we'll slow things down. Let the breath flow. As you can see, what I love to do is I've grabbed my elbows and rest my head on my forearms. I find this so supportive and amazing, but whatever floats your boat. All right, 3 more breaths here. And back to downward facing dog. This will be our last vinyasa, hips up and back. Walk it out. Belly button lifts towards the ceiling. Press your shoulders towards the kneecaps. All right, step forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Belly lifts. Exhale, forward fold, let it go. Get a big stretch through the back of the legs. Let the arms and head be nice and heavy. Big breath in and out. Again and again. Bend the knees, reach the arms up, look up, upward salute. Maybe find a bit of a back bend, hook those thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Maybe grab the ankles, pull the head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Awesome job. Work out this down dog. Feel it out. Kind of shift the rib cage from side to side, bend the knees one at a time. Inhale, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale, slowly lower, hit the deck. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, child's pose. Awesome, so we're gonna move into slow-mo gear now. We'll shift into the restorative phase of class, maybe taking a sigh of relief. Let the breath flow. Slow things down. Maybe your mind is moving quickly. See if you can slow your mind down. And come back to any intentions you may have set. We'll slowly come out of child's pose. We're gonna make our way to sit down with our legs in front of us. I'm definitely gonna recommend sitting on a blanket. Sitting on the floor can be challenging, so if you can prop yourself up a little bit, that usually helps our spine and in turn helps our alignment everywhere, our breath, the whole shebang. So we'll send our legs in front of us and see if you can find a stable, comfy position here, just letting the breath flow. This is staff pose. And something as simple as this can be challenging, so just be gentle with yourself. Find what works, adjust accordingly. See if you can reach that crown of the head upwards. All right, we're gonna move into a twist. We'll take one leg up first. I've got my left leg. And just pull that foot up and then take it to the outside of your right leg or whichever leg you're choosing to do. Make sure that foot is connected to the floor, all four corners, and then we'll take a twist over to the lifted knee towards the hip of the lifted knee. My left hip, gazing over the left shoulder or back shoulder. And inhale to center. Great job. We'll do the other leg. Extend one leg straight, hug your other leg up and in. Plant all four corners of the foot down on the floor and then take a twist towards the lifted hip, knee, the lifted leg, the hip of the lifted knee leg. It's my right leg. Some people don't know their right and left, so I just try to be accommodating. Let that breath flow. Inhale to center. Awesome. Let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees apart. We'll take bound angle. Figure out where your feet want to be. Closer together that they are, the more it's going to get that inner thigh and the groin. And then the further away your feet, the more it's going to get the back of your hips and your glutes. So just depending on what you're in the mood for or what your body's telling you that you need, find that position. And then I like to grab onto my ankles, pull my heart up, lift the chin. So this is a big spine lengthener, finding that really big S curve in the spine, and then pull your heart long over the legs. And that's how we find our fold. You can press your legs open with your elbows. And very slowly begin to let the head get heavy. And find that bit of surrender. That bit of letting go. We're only going to continue to let go more and more. So feel free to just begin to stop trying, stop the effort, begin to surrender to the posture, to your practice. The hard work is over. And let the breath flow. Surrender, surrender, surrender. We'll stay for a few more breaths. Maybe you can walk your hands forward if that feels beneficial to you. And just let the breath flow. Okay, we'll slowly come out of it. Take your time. Nice and slow. Lift your head last. Maybe rotate the head around a few times on the shoulders. Always get a few creaks and cracks out after that. And we'll slowly lift our knees up and just make your way onto your back. We're going to do reclining postures for the rest of class. And take some deep cleansing breaths. Enjoying for just a few more moments. I know you've been here a little bit longer than me. Take your feet wide as your mat. And then drop your knees from left to right a few times, windshield wiping the shins. And then we'll bring our knees back up towards the ceiling. We can walk those feet a little bit closer together, hip width apart, and reach the arms up overhead. You can interlace the fingers if you want and kind of pull your hands up and away to straighten the arms, and then bend the elbows a little bit and feel that heart open. So you'll feel this space being created through the shoulders and the chest. Take a few deep breaths. Okay, exhale, hug one knee into your chest. I'm doing the right leg. Hug it in. Squeeze it tight, and then maybe extend that other leg on the floor, long down on the floor. And then we're going to straighten that leg that we're holding, my right leg, straighten it high, interlace your fingers behind the leg, and rotate that ankle around in circles, one way, and then the other way. Wiggle the toes. And we're going to walk our hands up that leg until you're getting the stretch that you like and that you need. So walk your hands up. Maybe they go to the ankle. And then maybe we pick our head up, but maybe we're in rest mode and we want to keep our head down. So whatever works for you. But it's kind of pressing and pulling ourselves into the biggest split that we might be able to do today. Just pulling, working towards a straight leg. Exhale, drop the head if it's lifted. Relax your hands back down the leg. Bend the knee and hug it in towards your chest again. And then we're going to take our leg across the body for reclining spinal twist. You can rest your foot on the leg that's long on the floor. Gaze over the shoulder. The same arm that's going to be the leg that's twisting. So it's my right arm, gazing over it. And you can ground your leg with your hands. So many different options here. Just find what works for you. But we do want to find grounding into the floor. We want to find that surrender. Few more big breaths in and out. Okay, let's come on back to center. Take whatever pathway you need to get there. Nice and slowly coming back. Feet on the floor, knees up. Scoop the hips under, pick them up one time. Reach the arms up overhead. Let the elbows bend. Feel that heart space open. Big inhale. Exhale, hug your other leg into your chest. I've got my left leg. And then maybe we extend our other leg long on the floor. Straighten your left leg now, or your other leg, the leg you're grabbing. Interlace your fingers maybe the weird way behind your leg and send that leg nice and straight. Rotate the ankle around one way and then the other way. Wiggle the toes. And then we're going to walk our hands up the leg as high as it will go. Maybe you pick your head up, maybe you don't. But just pulling ourselves into a bigger split. Big stretch through the back of the leg, the hamstring. Trying to keep a straight leg. Exhale, release. Slide your hands down the back of the leg and hug the knee into the chest. And then we'll take that leg across our body. Gaze over the opposite shoulder. And settle into reclining spinal twist. Supta, Matsyendrasana. You can take your foot to the leg or the floor. Your opposite hand can ground opposite leg. You may feel a nice big opening through the shoulder, the pec. We'll stay for a few more breaths. And we'll come back to center in whatever pathway you take. Ooh, and just kind of work that spine nice and long once again, nice and grounded. Maybe we reach the arms up overhead again for good measure, and then take them down alongside the body. Take a few breaths on our back here. Big breath in and out. Okay, so we have two options here for our last posture. We can take bridge pose, feet on the floor, knees up, lifting the hips, interlacing the fingers behind your back, and walking the shoulders together. This is a great way to close class. You can even slide something under your hips for supported bridge. And if you're feeling up for it, we could do wheel pose, which requires a lot of effort. So decide if this is the right path for you today. But you're going to take your fingers underneath you by your ears on either side. And maybe practice lifting your whole body up off the floor. And maybe this doesn't feel doable today, and you just want to take your fingertips underneath you by your ears and just notice that sensation through the backs of the forearms and the wrists. And this in and of itself can be a really nice stretch. However, if you're feeling up for it, maybe we push ourselves up. Maybe not. Big wheel pose. Coming down as soon as you're ready. Be careful of your head. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side when you're done, if you've attempted it. If you have, amazing, good for you. That's really not an easy thing to do. And then any last minute poses you want to take or make. Maybe we're still in bridge. Maybe there's something that you want to do and you have time to do it. This is sort of a minute or two of free period, and we'll come to Shavasana when you're ready. So this is time for yourself before Shavasana. Kind of getting out any distractions before we enter our second meditation. Anything that you need to do, body, mind, and soul, so that we can settle and find deep peace and comfort. Big breath in. Big breath out like. So for Shavasana, you'll want blanket under the head, maybe even under the hips. And you kind of want to become a starfish on the beach. So your hands are palms facing upwards, kind of splayed out. The ankles are rolling open, the legs are splayed out. It's definitely a surrender posture. And we'll simply watch and let our breath flow, noticing a difference after practicing together, after we got our heart rate up a little bit today. So just noticing how that feels, noticing any benefits, or maybe being totally neutral, or maybe there isn't benefits, maybe we're not feeling awesome. Hopefully that's not the case, but just observing. Letting the breath flow in and out, up and down. Relax the back body. Notice where your skin is touching the floor and melt into all of those places. The heels, the back of the calves, the backs of the thighs, the buttocks, the upper back. Hopefully our low back is connecting a little bit. The back of the head, the back of the arms. And now relax the front of the body completely. The whole front of our body is gracefully touching the air. Noticing how that feels. And now relax the front body into the back body. So it's sort of this melting, this sandwiching of front and back. Let your back body melt into the floor, get nice and dense and heavy. And at the same time, feel the weightlessness, the lightness of the body as it floats, as it's supported by the firm floor. Find that union between opposing forces. Begin to breathe more deeply. Begin to wake yourself up a little bit, wiggling the fingers and the toes. And roll to the right side of your body, resting your head on your arm like a pillow, coming to the sleeping position. Enjoy this peace and comfort. Hold this serenity and grace close to your heart, this tranquility. Remember what this feels like, and come to sit upright. If you want to find a blanket under your hips, that might be best. Find that tall spine once again. Notice and observe the way you're feeling after practicing. And bring your hands to prayer at heart center, reminding yourself of any intention you set, any healing you're working on. We'll Om, you can listen or join in. Big breath. Bowing our heads in gratitude and namaste.